Hello, everybody! It's been a long time coming, but welcome to TheStrawhatNO's next Let's Play, Pikmin 3. I'm your host, Mugiwara Yoshi, and with me as always is Thornbrain, who's ready to lay down some sick riffs. So Pikmin 3 is a game that we've been wanting to do forever. In fact, you got me this game before I even had the console.
And how long ago was that?
That had to have been 2013 or so. So, I believe when you first put in the game literally starts up like this. Like, you don't go to the menu, if I'm remembering correctly.
I think I remember that.
So, Pikmin 3 also follows the tradition of depressing stories labeled under cute characters. In the first game, you were stuck on a planet with 30 days worth of oxygen until you got off. In the second game, your company went into debt. And in the third game, they went and made a brand new planet specifically to make them suffer.
That's what you do with your OCs.
Well, it's what you do. A lot of people like torturing their OCs. Me, I don't see the appeal, but to each their own.
The final vessel reports back with news of a miraculous discovery.
They have bottle caps.
We could totally eat that.
The planet, which they named PNF 404.
Okay, I actually think them labeling the Pikmin planet is cute, but also the fact that they call it PNF as in planet not found.
Yeah, that's what I figured it was.
Yeah, that's a cute little touch. So Pikmin 3 stars 3 new characters, actually. They're not from planet Hokotate, and I learned that yes, it is pronounced Hokotate.
Yeah. There's a little bit of voice acting. They don't speak English, but proper nouns they pronounce.
Yeah. Although I do love this narrator and how he sounds sarcastic.
Something goes horribly wrong. Again.
Oof, not that I care. I love how the logo comes up there.
Yeah.
So good.
Very sci-fi movie.
Yeah. So yeah, this was a game we've been trying to do forever, and I'm finally glad that we get to do it.
Me too.
That being said, we're gonna join one of our new characters here. So, they look very similar to the Hokotatians, but they're not. It's like literally you can see like one tiny design difference in their ear. They have like a little bump.
It does beg the question why they have the whistles built into their suits.
Yeah, that seems to be like a retcon, because even in Smash Brothers, like, Olimar has it too. So, standard tradition in Pikmin, you can never arrive on the planet safely. You will always crash, and you will get separated.
What's going on in the atmosphere of this planet?
I don't know, it seems to always change seasons by quadrants. So we have Captain Charlie here. He got separated from his other crewmates, Alf and Brittany. And if you think about it clearly, yes, like Alf as in Alpha, Brittany not really close to Bravo, but since they went with a female character, they went with Brittany. And Charlie here, who's our captain. The cool thing is that each of the members of our troop here, they actually do play a role. Charlie is our captain and leader, Alf is the ship's engineer, and Brittany is the botanist. And this time we start with yellows. Standard for Pikmin is tutorial. I like that Charlie's attempt to get them away from him was to whistle at something. In order to get them away from him, but it didn't work. Also, that took a little longer because those 2 yellow Pikmin were beating up that one mushroom. So it was just like, hang on, you gotta let him finish.
Maybe it would work if you whistled a bear.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll work out just fine. With a gorilla, too.
And also stare at the gorilla very intently.
So Pikmin 3 also gives you the option of playing with just the gamepad. There's like a touchscreen and a stylus mode. You can use only just the gamepad, but if you have been using new play control, like if you played Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2 on the Wii or Wii U, then you're probably used to using a nunchuck and a Wiimote, which is how I'm playing it. But Pikmin 3, since there are some pretty nifty uses with the gamepad, which we'll be seeing later, you kind of have to, like, play with both. So, like, if you want to, like, use your pad, you have to, like, quickly put down your nunchuck and Wiimote and switch to the gamepad, which honestly does not sound as annoying as it sounds. But it is kind of goofy. And since we're currently stuck in tutorial land at the moment, we just have to follow the straight path. I do think it's cool that this time we just get to start with the yellow.
Yeah, nice change of pace.
If you've never played a Pikmin game, then yes, there are various types of Pikmin, each with their own specialities and attributes, which we'll be going over when we get there. But with the yellows, you can notice that they arc very high when you toss them. They're able to reach certain items and things that are much higher that the other Pikmin just simply can't reach. And also, if you've never played a Pikmin game, yes, you will get attached to these little buggers. But you'll also get used to them and also find ways to lose them in a way that makes you go, you know what, fuck it.
Like getting hit by a camera.
Like getting hit by a camera, yes. So that's Charlie's story. It's really sad that Pikmin 3 starts with a death.
It is a little funny. The first Pikmin we meet are yellows, which are so specific compared to reds, which we usually meet. And thus, we don't actually get tutorials on why they're special until, I think, Brittany finds them later.
Yeah. So that's going to be our ship for this game, the SS Drake. The SS Drake is actually pretty interesting, mainly because we learn later on, Alf mentions that his grandfather actually designed the SS Drake.
And his brain is inside of it.
That would actually be an incredible twist. Alf, I need you to crash into that planet right now.
Yes, grandfather.
Right, whatever. Like the antenna lights up. I understand, grandfather.
His eyes turn red.
Contrary to popular belief, Alf is not... Well, he's basically the same height as Olimar, but he's the Olimar in this game as in protagonist, I suppose, but really all three of them are the protagonists of this game.
He's the most average guy.
Yeah, he's like the most average, but at the same time he's definitely different enough from Olimar, I feel, because he's the ship's engineer. Olimar is basically a delivery man with a scientist's brain. Which is true, because in other games, when he identifies, like, enemies, he does give, like, a scientific evaluation. He just happens to work for Space FedEx. So that is gonna be, the Onion. Looks much different than it did in the last few games.
Looks more mechanical.
Yeah, which I find really interesting. Every time you come back to the Pikmin planet, it's never the same.
I mean, you can lick it.
You can. Oh, the onion. I thought you meant the planet. I mean, yeah, you can lick it if you'd have to remove your helmet.
Both are correct.
Both are correct. They're both factually correct, you know. Okay, so... Since we're still technically in the tutorial, we are going to find out a new thing that the Pikmin can do for this game, but also we're being introduced to a semi-important feature. I call it semi-important because it depends on whether or not you really want to use it. I actually use it, so I like to think it's pretty important. So, in Pikmin 3, now your Pikmin are able to gather bridge pieces, and they'll automatically return to the same spot. To me, this is a cool little addition, because your Pikmin, if you've never played Pikmin, your Pikmin they think in binary, so they do whatever that you tell them to. If you tell them to, like, attack something, they're gonna attack something, even if it's killing them. If you tell them to walk near the water and they fall in the water, they're just gonna start drowning. So, you have to be very careful with what you instruct them to do, because they live and die for you, which are actually the song lyrics to, the very first Pikmin game, I Know That, which literally the Pikmin are like, yeah, we will literally live and die for you. In this game, they can collect bridge pieces and return exactly to the same spot, and while that's cool that they don't just, like, return items to your ship, sometimes the pieces will run out, and even though it's empty, they're gonna run back to that spot and stay anyway, which can be a little annoying. And now with our coat pad, I have a love and hate feature. I love it because you do get an ability later that's pretty useful and handy, but I hate it a little bit, mainly because this is also during that age of like, hey, the Wii U gamepad is super cool, right? Isn't it awesome? And here is me actually switching to the gamepad. The gamepad is fine. It's just it comes off as a little gimmicky. Because here I literally have to use the gamepad, and I would imagine that if you didn't have a gamepad for whatever reason, you straight up can't play or access this game.
Well, it doesn't help that also audio comes from the gamepad, doesn't it?
So like, when you hear, like, Alf talking, or, like, when they mention something, they'll bring up the gamepad on screen, but you'll get the rest of it on your actual gamepad. So it just leads to awkward moments of silence. So I'm gonna apologize ahead of time for that. There's literally nothing I can do for that.
Don't slap the bug.
Well, I mean, all of the leaders are able to punch. It's weak, but, you know, they're little shear grubs. These are the female ones. So, when Pikmin grab those red circles with the numbers, those are called pellets. And when they do, they bring it back to their onions. They are able to extract whatever's in the pellet to reproduce more Pikmin. And then once they shoot out, they dig into the ground, and you're able to pluck them. We've been messing with them for a while, but these are the red Pikmin. You learn later on what they're capable of, but you kinda can figure it out by gameplay. The red Pikmin are immune to fire. In the last game, they were the second strongest Pikmin, but in this game, they are, by default, the strongest Pikmin again. Which is good, because it makes them more useful.
They're like your frontline fighters.
Yeah, they're basically your frontline. It's good to have a whole bunch of them, because having a lot of reds is great because they can attack a lot, and they can basically do a lot of the menial labor that you're kind of going to want to divide your work with and use your other Pikmin to do, because, like I mentioned with the yellows, they can't access, like, high... if like a pellet was like on a ledge that I couldn't reach, then the red Pikmin wouldn't be able to do it. I also kind of regret letting a few of those Pikmin go away because that pellet has a 5 on it.
Yeah.
So you're also noticing the fractions right there. The bottom number represents how many Pikmin you need in order to pick it up, and the top number represents how many Pikmin are currently grabbing that. So we're going to be seeing right here, as soon as I throw the red, all of them, that there are currently 5 Pikmin necessary, and there's 10. Having more Pikmin on it enables your Pikmin to grab and pull the item that you picked up, whether it be the corpse of a bug or a pellet, and it makes them go faster.
Only twice the required number can carry anything.
Mm-hmm.
Now, something that we saw briefly, and we kind of saw it with them carrying the bridge pieces, there's a big improvement to the game, which I really appreciate, in that Pikmin follow behind you in, like, a marching line. In the early games, they just followed directly behind you, so if you got too far ahead, they would get lost. In this case, they're always following a line, so they never get lost.
Speaking of new cool things that you can do with the Pikmin, you have a lock-on feature now. And when you shake the nunchuck, if you're using the Wiimote nunchuck style, they're able to charge at exactly what you're locking onto. Very useful, very cool. And pushing that cardboard box also enables us to see what appears to be a data file. Again, I like the gamepad, but this gets a little annoying.
If you like, I could zoom in the footage to make it easier to read.
Yeah, because I was hoping, like, oh god, I hope this isn't, like, hard to read or anything.
It'll probably be slightly blurry, but it'll be easier to read.
Yeah. The data files help Alf mainly because, well, he doesn't really know what these creatures are, and the only people who really messed with the Pikmin are the Hogatatians. So we install our little app here. We get a little bit of a mystery going on as to who exactly left the data file. If you've played any of the previous games, it comes off as a duh.
Yeah.
But if you didn't, then I suppose we'll keep the mystery going.
That's one of the things that I like about having these three characters, because in Pikmin 1, it was just Olimar. In 2, he had Louis there, but they never interacted. They were just following orders from the ship. In this case, it's three actual characters interacting.
Yeah. I actually do like the Copites, because I feel like they're all unique enough.
Yeah.
For what they do, the fact that they're all genuinely pleasant and they have some good lines. Oh, I wanted to mention it too, when the seeds were planted and I was plucking them out. In the last two games, in Pikmin 1 and 2, you would have to keep hammering the A button when you were plucking Pikmin. In this game, they just made it automatic. As soon as you start plucking, Alf is going to start plucking the rest of the Pikmin like it's no problem. You can also cancel your pluck whenever you want. Very useful.
Hooray! I'm out of here.
Oh boy, now I can ditch everyone else.
His little eyebrows.
Yeah. I love their cute little features like that. But at least I'll say this, I think the Copad, despite me being like, when it pauses and it brings it up like that, I do like that it is used, like, in universe too.
Yeah.
Like Brittany, for example, is able to communicate with Alf.
And one nice detail, every time a specific character pulls up the Copad, you see their hands and their colors.
So, when the ship blew up in the intro, I mean, it blew up, that would be the most depressing game Pikmin 4. But when the SS Dre crash landed and they got separated, those 3 stars in the beginning were absolutely them, by the way.
Yeah.
So their spacesuits are really good quality if they can survive that.
They're supposed to be the size of a quarter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which isn't too much bigger than an ant. And ants can survive a fall from any distance.
So if we get a bunch of ants and we throw them out in outer space and have them fall towards the Earth, they'll be okay?
Well, if they don't burn up in the atmosphere first.
So, another Pikmin tradition is that nocturnal creatures appear in the nighttime, so we have to leave. We have never ever actually seen what it's like in the nighttime, and this game also does not answer that. But just know that that's when you have to leave.
No matter what, no matter how long you're taking, no matter what you're doing, the game will stop you.
Absolutely. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but for this run, we will be gathering all of the fruits in order to get the best ending, because there are 3 possible endings you can get. And knowing me, we're going to get the best ending, because that's how I like to do things.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, you actually have to eat food. You actually have to drink some of your juice. The number of days you have in this game reflects on how much juice you actually have. In the first game, it was set to 30. It was always going to be 30. The second game, until the end of time. But in this game, it's heavily reliant on how much juice you have. And at the end of the day, we also get a report from the characters, too. They're in some pretty deep shit right now, because not only are they separated, they have 2 days worth of food, they can't go back home because they don't have the Cosmic Drive key, and they need to find fruits. So shit's fucked.
Yeah. It's a nice middle ground between the first 2 games.
Yeah.
Because you're in peril, but you're also able to extend the time you have.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, there's a limited amount of fruits in the world.
So yeah, isn't Pikmin cute? Isn't it great? Doesn't that sound amazing?
Oh, starvation just makes me want to cuddle.
That's just par for the course in the Pikmin franchise. Which, I remember before Pikmin 3 even came out, we discussed what the plot could be, but we always assumed it would be Olimar and Louis and the President or something.
Yeah.
By the way, we'll also learn the outcomes of what happened to Olimar and Louis as the game progresses.
I'm not sure it scans.
It's something. It just kind of makes me think, gee, all the work in the last game I did.
Yeah. I don't know if this was planned, if this was said anywhere, or if this was just speculation I picked up, but wasn't 3 supposed to let you play over one of the nights?
I have no idea. But if they did, that would have been super cool, because I would love to see what nighttime is like.
I remember hearing that somewhere. Maybe it was just a rumor.
Maybe it was like a test demo they had at one point. They were like, oh, this is too scary. If anything, what I can imagine the nighttime looks like is, it looks like when people make fan hacks out of Pikmin 2, where, like, you jump into, like, one of the pits, and then, like, there's just, like, 80 bosses there, and it slows the game down and you can't do anything. Or something a little more controlled but still horrific. Like, I always like to imagine that there are worse versions of the monsters we're gonna find. Because this game, Pikmin always sure likes to do that. They're like, yeah, you remember that thing in that first game? Well, here's what it looks like now. Also, it's worse.
Here's its dad.
Here's its grandpa. But yeah, I'm really excited to do Pikmin 3. I'm gonna show some neat tricks pretty soon. And I don't really have anything else to say, so before we end this video, I just want to say to everybody who assisted me in my Patreon, thank you very, very much. And I want to give a thank you to Aaron Kincannon, Alfredo Jones, Ben Wilcox, Brian Dunn, David Van Meel, Dumpster Dracula, Harold Bjorkman, Jacob, Jiggly Jacob, I'm sorry, Kara Wojcik, I hope I pronounced that right. If I get any of your names wrong, I'm very sorry. Lech Rozansky, Matthew Studer, Nina Castillo, Shy Guy 42, Sinistar, Teddy Murray, and Zel Esparza. Thank you all very, very much for supporting my Patreon. It means a lot. I can give a tiny bit of an update of my situation. Essentially, I actually have less time than I thought I did, and I will be leaving New Jersey in May. So, if you'd like to assist me in any way whatsoever, then you could support me on my Patreon, patreon.com/MugiwaraYoshi. If you'd like to support me in any way, by all means you can. My Patreon has no bearing whatsoever on the Let's Plays. You guys are going to get it no matter what you do. So if you'd like to assist, thank you, and if you don't want to, then that's perfectly fine as well. That being said, the only other thing I can really think of is the Let's Play parts will be based by day, like the last two.
And we're planning to upload 2 parts a week, Tuesdays and Fridays.
Well, you can't see the first Let's Play, but you can see 2.
Yeah, after Pikmin 3, we're going to be redoing the first one, because our first LP of Pikmin 1 was back on our old LP channel, and I think all but the first part was uploaded to Blip, because that's what we did back then, so yeah, it's gone.
Man, Blip doesn't even exist anymore.
It was gone before Blip went down.
I think I remember I actually found the first part, and like 3 seconds in, I was just like, why? I hate it. Like, I feel like that could be a neat little bonus video when we redo Pikmin 1.
I know where it is.
I do too. Ugh. I can't. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you in day 2.